Gods and Goddesses. An introduction to some of the contents. Here's a question. How do you resolve conflicts, not just outside of yourself, also inside? We have a hierarchy of values, possibly how scientifically it can be explained or through psychology. So these feelings we have on a daily basis and what actions we take are based on those feelings, or no action based on those feelings. Most of the time we find a rhythm that allows us to have fulfillment and a hopefully balanced life. Yet some of these principles or values or beliefs conflict, and us as human beings, we are complex. This first session will allow you to understand your values, your core fundamental principles at a deep subconscious level. Only when you react to these feelings do they come to your forefront consciousness. However, something led you to feel that way. And yes, scientifically and psychology you can explain it's the smells, it's what you hear, to some degree it's what you eat. Your senses, what are you receptive to, can shape our feelings, which is true. However, there are patterns. The clue is in human. We are human, not animals. Humane. There's another clue. We care. We prefer pleasure to pain. So maybe some of your deep fundamental values, feelings are wired to the basic principles of being a human being. We need to understand what allows us to live in harmony, not just with things outside of us, also within us. Here's an example. If your number one value was manners, you can hear people saying, I don't like it when people are ill-mannered. It just really rubs me up the wrong way. And you witness someone else being ill-mannered to someone else, even though you're not actually involved. It starts to become a niggle. They were rude. They were blunt. Even though the person they're communicating with possibly might not even see it as rude or blunt. However, according to your values, your beliefs, you feel they're being ill-mannered. Do you intervene and say something, even though it's not even your conversation? Possibly not the best choice. Or do you stay silent? None of your business. These are the sort of things we will explore. What if one of your core fundamental values, maybe beyond your subconscious, was compassion, loving, tolerant, forgiving? Maybe these would override all of the other values. After all, being compassionate more than likely means you have to be tolerant. Being loving possibly means you have to be tolerant and compassionate and forgiving. We're not talking about loving as feeling good, because everyone can feel good when things go right for them. The sun is shining. Some of your lottery numbers came in. You've just had some nice food. We're talking about loving unconditional. And again, not just to people outside of you, also loving and respecting yourself. Yes, sometimes you have to look at somebody who is loving. It can remind you. So we need to understand our own mechanics. Yet, do we have an education or a course that teaches us from a young age how to be as a human being? We do have some morals taught to us from a young age, through our parents, through our peers, through our teachers, through our professors, down to choice. What if there was a specific curriculum activity from a very young age that taught us the fundamental principles of what makes up a human being. The core values, the core structures beyond our psychology that fits into the bigger realm of our universe. Here's an example. A society is made up of individuals. Now, depending on those individuals, what they are practicing spiritually, maybe the moral aspects of that society. Now, hopefully a society is made up of a higher percentage of people practicing good virtues, good principles, good spirituality, good beliefs. And in return, most of the time that society is harmonic with its surroundings and peaceful. Yet no spirituality, no beliefs, no practice of good principles or positive qualities. We could all imagine what type of society that may be. So think of spirituality as going to the gym to build muscle and good health. What you practice spiritually is just a byproduct that allows you to be humane in society. You're first human, then comes your culture, your beliefs, your religion, what you stand for. We're all human, and we all share the fundamental principles that dictate our mechanics. Nature governs human law. How? Let's take the basic elements of nature: fire, water, earth, space and air. We as humans, we know we cannot climb up a tree to the top and jump out and expect to fly it without any innovation. So we're respecting, whether we do it subconsciously or consciously, air and wind. We know we can't jump into a fire like a cockroach and survive. So we are paying respect to fire. In the same principle, we know we can't stay underwater like a fish for hours on end. So again, we're subconsciously respecting water. When the sun comes out, we need less clothing. When the rain comes, we need to cover ourselves and protect ourselves. So these are the principles that make up a human being. These are the elements governing us. Some people say, oh, you're a tree hugger. Even those people subconsciously are paying respect to nature. They know the boundaries. They're not going to stand too close to the cliff edge. It's that simple. What governs nature is science of the universe. Pretty much the same thing happening in larger scales. The elements mixing in vast quantities. So nature is governed by the science of the universe. Humans are governed by nature. We are humane. We are humans. And we need a method to practicing humanity. And remember, humanity is a byproduct of our spiritual devotion. Our morals are a byproduct of our spiritual practice. Our society is built up on our morals. A family unit is built up on our principles. After all, if you want world peace, each individual has to be at peace. So it starts with you.